welcome back to another Coffee with Kenna. It's been a while, but here we are. This is a series in which I drink coffee, you drink coffee, and we discuss a topic. Today's being, as the title suggests, Dark Academia films. So, let's just jump right into it. For the sake of not driving everybody, including myself, crazy during this video, I'm going to shorten Dark Academia down to just DA and say that majority of the time, so that none of you play drinking games and die. Okay, so the definition of DA, Dark Academia, varies from person to person, I think, but today I'm just going to be telling you guys my definition, or the 3 criteria that I think a film needs to meet in order to be considered a DA film. Criteria number 1 is time period. This varies again from person to person, but in my opinion, I think that the DA time period is anywhere from 1840 to 1940. Some people would say that it is just the 20s to the 1950s, but I mean, I just disagree with that, because would you not include the Victorian and the Edwardian era? I mean, like, would you not include Sherlock Holmes? Because I absolutely 100% would. So I think it is anywhere from 1840 to 1940. So films that take place in this time period, I think, meet the first criteria. Now, there is an exception to this rule, and it is that the film can take place at a later date or a different date, but I think it still needs to hold true to those vintage aesthetics, which brings us into the second criteria, probably the most obvious one, and that is the aesthetics. The aesthetics of DA are very neutral colors, moody colors, like browns, blacks, grays, stuff like that. You'll have lots of dim libraries, cafes, Ivy League colleges and boarding schools, tweed jackets, waistcoats, suspenders, pocket watches, candles, all of that good vintage moody stuff is optimal DA aesthetic. And honestly, if the film or the show or the book or anything like that takes place between 1840 to 1940, most likely it will already have all of those aesthetics anyway. As important as the visuals of DA are into, actually being DA, there is one more important criteria that I think the materials or the films or shows or whatever need to meet, and that is number 3. It has to romanticize the pursuit of knowledge. Dark Academia romanticizes learning and studying the arts, literature, and humanities and philosophies and all of that stuff. It has to have that in there. And this could be the character learning something or the audience learning something. And by that, I mean the character could be pursuing some special interest or innate curiosity or some specific topic that they're interested in. So either the character is learning something or the audience is, and in that it would be stories or films that are based off of true events or real people. I think that it needs to have one of those things. Something where it is romanticizing learning and the pursuit of knowledge. Whew. First up on the list, we have The Mummy 2009. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, up there in my top 5. I'm just so obsessed and in love with this movie. It's all around perfect. The Mummy takes place the year of 1923. The aesthetics of it, you have a character that is a librarian, a character that is an explorer, very cute and classy DA fashion in there. And then, of course, the neutral colors. Majority of the film takes place in Egypt, so artifacts and just all of these great visuals in there. And of course, the characters are learning about and pursuing and exploring ancient Egypt. The characters are so well written. They are such well-rounded characters. They seem like real people, because when you first meet them, you think, oh, she's gonna be very ditzy, she's gonna be kind of an airhead. And when you meet him, you think, oh, he's gonna be that typical cocky personality, you know. He is actually very, very sweet to her, and she is actually very, very smart and headstrong, and it's just great. It's just really, really good movie. 10 out of 10. Please watch it. Woo! Almost made me drop my croissant. Film number 2 is Hugo, 2011. This film takes place in Paris, 1931. Such good aesthetics in there. Majority of the film takes place in a train station. So you've got a beautiful vintage train station. Inside there's a cafe, a library, flower shop. The boy is running the clock tower. Such cute fashion, really nice moody color scheme. It also takes place in the winter time. Always an added bonus in there if they take place during fall or winter. And you also learn quite a bit about films, the first films ever made. And I don't know how much of this was like genuine, real information, but I think that a bit of it was.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So there's criteria number 3. And on to the next one, which is Knives Out, 2019. The time period for this one, I have absolutely no idea. I have no clue. If I had to make a guess, maybe the 70s. I don't necessarily know if it takes place from 1840 to 1940, but it has the vintage aesthetics, so it passes. The aesthetics being majority of the film takes place in a very beautiful Victorian mansion. They dress very like preppy Ivy League. All of the background props and trinkets in this movie really, really fascinated me because they have such cool stuff in the backgrounds of the movie that it distracted me a lot actually, but one of the best movies I've ever seen. And this one, as I said, is a murder mystery, so it's not like a specific topic that the characters are studying, but I will always count mysteries as meeting criteria number 3, simply because to solve a mystery, you have to be pursuing a truth. You have to be learning something, right? And that's exactly what you're doing in this. You are learning all of these little tiny pieces of information as you go to find out who done it. This movie is like a cinematic masterpiece. It's fairly new. Like I said, it just came out 2019. So if you have not seen it, please give it a watch. Moving on to the next one is a classic that every single DA aesthetic thing will have on their list of films to watch. It's kind of known as like the king of it, and it is The Dead Poets Society, 1989. The movie takes place 1959, takes place in a preppy boarding school. It's autumn and winter in this film, which definitely helps with the moody and cozy vibe. Classrooms, books, instruments, all the good stuff. And the characters, of course, being in a school, are learning about literature and poetry and the arts, and honestly a bit of human philosophy as well. And I feel like you learn something when you watch this movie, just like about life in general. I do feel like I need to put like a warning, maybe a trigger warning, that the movie does have a bit of a heavy topic in there. It's a bit sad, but it's also great, and I recommend everyone sees it in at least once in their lifetime. And the next movie is Crimson Peak, 2015. This movie is set during the Victorian era. I think it takes place like just about 1900. Victorian era automatically meets all of the aesthetics. You know, you've got the big, moody Victorian mansion. This is like a gothic romance. You'll see some Gibson Girl style in there, and then you'll also see some older, very classy Victorian gowns and everything. The costuming in this movie, oh my gosh. The costuming in this movie is just on another level. This is another kind of a mystery. You are trying to learn a truth with the main character who's trying to figure out just like what the heck is going on, what is the secrets behind these people and behind this house. It is spooky. I feel like I should mention that it is a horror movie, and also Tom Hiddleston. If that's not like the automatic selling point, I don't know what is. So that is that, and on to the next one, The Limehouse Golem, 2016. This film takes place in Victorian London. Of course, since you're in Victorian London, you're gonna have tons of that DA aesthetic, horse-drawn carriages, old libraries, theaters, really great fashion in there, some really cute Victorian fashion. It is a murder mystery, so mysteries automatically check off that third criteria. But also for this one is interesting, the killings aren't real. Like, the Limehouse Golem murders are not real, that's made up. But the characters in the movie, some of the characters that are suspects, are real people. They were based off of real people. I feel like I also need to include kind of a trigger warning for this one. This movie is kind of heavy. Well, first of all, it's like a murder mystery thriller, and it's a bit gory. They do show some gory scenes, but other than that, there's also some other topics in there that are kind of heavy. The last film on this list is Kill Your Darlings, 2013, and this film takes place the year of 1944. You've got your Ivy League college, they are going to Columbia University, libraries and literature, preppy fashion, you've got those neutral colors, typewriters. The visuals and the aesthetics for this are so good, and the soundtrack, so good. Of course, for this one, the characters are learning about literature and poetry, but also the entire film is based off of a true story. So you are learning about true events, about history, and about real people and real famous poets as well. There is some nudity, drugs, alcohol, violence, like it's kind of got all of it. So just a little warning there, but really, really good movie. Very aesthetic, and I love Daniel Radcliffe. And that is all of the films on my current Dark Academia films list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Maybe you got some new films to check out if you haven't seen any of them. So till next time, stay cozy.